All right, guys, what's going on? Good afternoon. Welcome aboard to our market recap, our weekly recap. Since we ended the month on Thursday, we'll go over our month as well. Glad to be with you this afternoon. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these videos, and press like if you like these videos, of course. Thank you so much. All right, what a week. Let's go ahead and get started with how the week was in the stock market. That's probably the best way to do it. All right, let's go and expand here. Small caps leading the way, up 3%. Dow, thank you, United Health. Thank you, Salesforce.com. They weighted heavy, up 2.44% this week. S&P up 0.82, but yet the NASDAQ was only up 0.20. So what is this telling you? Rotation. We're getting a rotation out of the Magnificent Eight or Magnificent Seven. Those names are Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Tesla, NVIDIA, Metaverse. Am I missing anyone? I think that's pretty much it, the main guys, those seven. And they've been kind of holding up everything in the market, but it's good to see that small caps, which have been beaten down so much, healthcare catching a bid too. Other than energy, because of the OPEC cuts, not really cuts, you got oil coming down as well this week. So energy stocks did pull back, but all in all, a good thing to see rotation. Also, financials did well this week. So again, we want to broaden out this rally. We don't want it to be so concentrated because that's not sustainable. So keep that in mind while we look into the stock market. So here is the S&P 500. This is the S&P spot. We are finally breaking out of that trend line that we retested in mid-July, which we rejected. And you could see on the weekly chart, we did settle at 45.94. This is S&P spot. The next level to target is 46.41. Once that breaks, that is the March highs of 2022. Then we're marching to all-time highs by the end of the year if we get that Santa rally. So that's the expectation on the S&P. A couple of things I want to show is in regards to seasonality. Let's take a look at it together. We got all this stuff to go over, guys. Let's see here. Years with a big first half tend to rally late in the year, up 10% in June, which is what we got. You could see we do push higher into November and into December, but we've been talking that for a while. December is higher more often than any other month, 74% chance that we'll have higher stock prices in December. December is usually a strong month, especially in a pre-election year. December is the third best month on average since 1950, second worst month the past 10 years, and the third best in a pre-election year. So you could see this nice boost higher. I guess the expectation is around 3% in gains for December. And remember, Santa tends to come later in the year. That's right around the 15th. So again, we're right now on the 2nd, so about the 4th. So seasonally speaking, we should get a nice little boost up until the 10th. That will be this week. And then we kind of pull back as the next week after we do have triple witching, which is OPEX, options expiry. And then after that, we tend to move higher. So that's the expectation. So again, next week should be strong. The next week after should be getting a little weaker. So we do have 4 weeks left in the year. So that's where we are in terms of how we're looking this week in terms of the broader market. Let's go over how we did in the stock market in terms of options. A couple of things I posted today for everybody. Let's do the week. Here's the week setup. Disney, we bought on the 17th of November. We bought tons of time, 2 weeks, still didn't get it. Bob Iger did not help with those comments. AMD, the one time we lost on AMD this week for the whole year, actually. So that was tough to see. AMD has been good to us. It was in the money as well. I got some statistics for that as well. And we got to 125.73, and then we got that rotation on Thursday and Friday. Unfortunately, we were expecting that push to 127, but it reversed on us, and that's all we could do. So do we get another crack on AMD? Possibly. Again, we're bouncing off the 20-day moving average. Let's go and cancel our alerts and see if we can get above 122.58 or so, 122.50. That'll give us an opportunity to take a look at AMD for another trade as a breakout. This was kind of a false breakout and pullback, but let's see if we get that push. In terms of, okay, we also had Disney. Let's do Disney. I'll move that to my other side. Disney, again, we bought 2 weeks, had that gap up. We were looking for that $100 level, got to 96.61, which is a 23.6 bib, and then pulled back. So not ideal. We even bought time and everything. Disney's officially off our list of stocks to trade. Never again will I trade that name. No thanks. It's just been absolutely brutal to trade. 1 out of 4 this month trading Disney. This year, excuse me. 1 out of 4. So 25% chance we get it. Forget it. Citibank, we bought on November 20th. We closed on Friday. That moved higher. Well done. I think it went up to 72% in the money. Roku was beautiful. I sent that out to everybody on the live market blog as well. If you guys remember, let's go to Roku. Let's see, Roku soared as well. I also showed on the actual was it the Tradelitics breakout activity, but we were in that beforehand. Let me see if I can bring this up. This was part of the live market blog. I put it on the list if I could find it. Here we go. So this was last Sunday. Here, check this out, guys. Last Sunday, if I can get this going. There we go. Last Sunday, the 26th, I wrote on here, Roku above 98.44, target the 105 to 120 call strikes. We did catch that. DraftKings, I don't know if that broke. It probably did, but I didn't trade that. And then Meta pulled back, so I didn't trade that as well. But Roku, again, sent it out. This is important to keep an eye on these watch lists, guys. This is free for everybody on the blog. If you are interested, please take a look at the description below. It's free for everybody, the live market blog on Discord. But again, Roku was nothing really out of the ordinary. We knew what we knew what we wanted. Hit 400% on the highs. It was a quick one, obviously, but again, I let everyone know ahead of time. So let's see if we get another one coming up. Let's see if I can bring up the week this week. Here we go. Mara, we also got Mara for 30%, hit as high as 80%, but we hit Mara again after that. So again, we did make it up. We get the 13.5s. The December 8th got as high as 40%. Tesla, thankfully, we got some profits out of that because that reversed pretty ugly. So all in all, 5 out of 7. Again, I have a high bar. The better you get, expectations go. So like I even said, to me, being undefeated, having a perfect week to me is the bar. And that's important. So here's kind of some stats on that. Our undefeated week streak has been snapped at 2 weeks, which we've done it 4 other times this year. 6 out of the 9 past weeks were perfect, with 7 out of the last 9 weeks were 80% win loss. Our year-to-date weekly win-loss average is right around 76%. I want to bump those numbers up, as meme shows here. 4 weeks left. Let's see if we can get another streak going where we can break the streak of at least 2 or more weeks undefeated and see if we can bump up that year-to-date win-loss average. So let's do what we can. Going over our performance in terms of the dates. Again, I always want to see what the edge is. And you can still see that Wednesdays and Fridays are our best dates, but yet Wednesday and Friday this week in entries, Friday was 0 for 2, Wednesday was 0 for 1. So, even having this data, it's not perfect. Again, you're just trying to find some edge. Monday and Tuesday, not exactly killing it in terms of numbers, but again, Monday did well and Tuesday did well. Tuesday got 2 for 2, and so did Monday. So you could see that Tuesday and Monday, again, getting a little bump up with Wednesday and Friday coming down in terms of the days that we enter. Wednesday is still our money day. Friday still a money day. Tuesday is pushing up. So again, let's see if maybe Tuesday can give us a little more, maybe get closer to that 77, 78% range. Thursdays are not good, unfortunately, not in 2023 anyways. Some more stats. Here's our GAR power rankings. These are the names that we've done well with so far this year. AMD, 16 out of 17. Takes the L, sure. It wasn't perfect, but again, it's still number 1, still the best stock option to trade this year. Tesla, 21 out of 23, 91%. QQQ tied with Tesla, 10 out of 11, 91%. Palantir, great name, 12 out of 14, 86%. Mara and DraftKings, both. Mara did get a nice boost. It was 6 out of 8. Remember, we had that loss a couple of weeks ago. Made it back twice with two calls. So 8 out of 10 for DraftKings, and Mara tied at 5th, 80% win-loss. Honorable mention, got to say it, Roku, 3 for 3 this year. So let's see if we can find another Roku setup or something like Roku where we can get bags like that. Another piece of advice I wrote here, and this is important. Did you know? In Q4 alone, 4 out of our 9 last losing trades in the quarter hit in the money, meaning the stock itself was above our strike price. 2 out of the 9 losses hit at least 30% before reversing. And one loss was from closing a day before expiry when it went from 82% to 124% profit on expiry. Those are the Google 137 calls. Here's the lessons from that. Trading options is not easy. You can be right and still be wrong. Take profits when you can while still fighting the urge to hold for bags being anything above 100%. The runner strategy is on our FAQs channel here on the Start Here button or the Start Here channel. Reversals happen, always manage risk. Never go all in on anything. You don't know what can and will happen. Murphy's Law, right? What can happen will happen. So that's where we are. Some very important data points that I worked on this morning for you guys. Again, the idea is to find our edge. What are we good at? What are we not good at? What days are good? What weeks are good? What weeks aren't? That's kind of the deal. Going on to the month. We ended the month with a 9-trade win streak, but that ends with Disney and AMD being in the money. So 9 was not bad. I'm pretty happy. And then we also had a 17 win streak in November. So let's go ahead and take a look at the month. All right, the month. 2 L's this month, 20 out of 22. Pretty great all around. What can I say? I mean, stocks had a banner month. So did bonds. So I wish I would have got those two. The goal for me is to be perfect in a month, 100%. We're not going to get that in December. Since December, we already have 2 losses with AMD and Disney. But again, we know what we can accomplish. We know that. So we know what we can go for. What I'm trying to do is make our accomplishments be our baseline, where we're so used to it now. It's all good. Hey, man, every week we're supposed to win. Every week we're supposed to be undefeated. That's the mentality that I have. But again, we'll see in December if we can make back those 2. Again, we're 2 out of 4, excuse me. That's 50% to start the month. We have had months where we've had a couple losses to begin. One that stands out to me was in July, and July was an incredible month. We started off the month with 3 losses, Tesla, JPM, and S&P, and we ended the month absolutely strong, 81% win loss. So I don't think that having those 2 L's right off the rip in December is really going to hinder us because we've kind of been here before. So the idea is to rack it up, at least get 80% for the month so we can wrap up the year on a strong note. So that's where we are in terms of the stocks that we traded this week. All good stuff. All good stuff. Very proud of the work the whole team has done. And the idea is to just get better. And I'll keep looking at all the data points. At the end of 2023, usually what I do is the kind of the end of year recap where I kind of recap all the data. And again, I post this stuff so I can also read on the video as well for y'all. But what I want to do is actually get all these data points and spreadsheets, create a PDF so I can send it out on the blog. And if you guys are interested in getting that report, we'll put it on the blog as well. Or you can, maybe we'll find a way where if you request it, we'll just send it out to you guys on the website or something like that. But first, we'll be on the blog so everyone can see how we've done. And I'm going to make it very, very nice so you can kind of see the year in review. And I kind of want to do that moving forward because it's a good way to kind of illustrate the whole 12 months, the ups and downs and the downs and ups of the market because 2023 hasn't been easy. I can't say any stock market year is easy, but getting better is the most important thing, just improving. That's all it is. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to the S&P 500 and see what we're about. This is the S&P 500 futures. 46.24, that's the breakout level that we're looking for. Again, that's the July highs. We broke it on the S&P spot, but again, on ES, we need 20 more points. We're above this trend line here. So again, I said it before and I'll say it again. I still think we hit all-time highs by the end of the year. I even tweeted that. It's on the pin. So again, if you guys want to laugh at me, so be it, but that's where we are. In terms of the week on the Almanac, nothing that stands out, no bullish day, no bearish day. And just a heads up, the Almanac last week said Thursday would be bearish. The Dow soared 500 points. So sometimes they even get it wrong. But I need to get the new one for 2024. I think that's on Amazon. So that's the stock market Almanac. Again, I don't get paid from these guys. I just support them because this is a great way to have all your notes. So a couple of things I want to focus on this week. IWM breaking above the 100. We talked about that. I would like to go long on IWM, but here's the problem. We haven't done well with IWM this year. So this is where we have to go back And the last time I tried to see if, oh, well, Disney looks really good and we should trade that, and yeah, no. And again, that's what happens. Kind of deviate from that plan. No more Disney. I'm going to mark this in red because, well, I'll leave it yellow. It's fine. But IWM, we're 3 out of 8. So what do we do instead of trading IWM instead? We'll go ahead and trade futures. We'll trade RTY. I think that would be a little easier for everybody to deal with. So with RTY, what are we looking for? I mean, man, this looks great. Let's see if we can get above 1875. I think that's fair. 1875 gives us 5 more handles from our upside to confirm instead of this being a reversal possibly. We get above that, again, we got up to 1954. That's what we're looking for. We'll slide the stops. If we get into 1875, what I would do is that we'll target 1900 as our first TP1 or maybe our first level to move the stops. TP1 for me would probably be about 1920. Let's place an alert there. Get yourself set up for the week. Again, above 1875, we'll target 1900 to move the stop, whether it's break even or what have you. And then 1920 as we move higher to 1954. And then even if we break 1954, we could target 2000. I like this trade because now we're getting the rotation. Finally, Russell's getting some action. So I really want to focus on the small caps. Mega caps are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about, that NVIDIA life. But the idea is rotation. Be ahead of it. Let's be ready for it. Let's go ahead and go over a couple of names that I have been watching that are not tech. Caterpillar, I'm targeting 264.56. We're above the 50-day moving average. I want to keep an eye on the 265 calls. I believe they had very nice volume at around 6,200. So again, I didn't fill it over the weekend. Why? Because I didn't want any risk over the weekend in terms of signals. So again, this is what we're targeting, the 100. Let's see what the volume does on Monday, and we'll fill accordingly if we get the move. Peloton was another one I had an alert on. Peloton is above the 100. You could target this gap fill here at 692. Let's take a look at the options chain or the options volume on Peloton. Peloton in terms of options, here we go, the 15th, the $7 calls, 6,000 in vol. Now these high betas, guys, they either can work out great where you get bags or they can reverse in a heartbeat. But this is what it's showing us in the market. Again, I'm keeping an eye on the 7 calls on Peloton. Let's see if we can maybe take a look at that on Monday as well. Palantir, yes, it is tech. But again, 2030, that's my level to break. If we do, we're targeting 21 to possibly 22. It's been a great stock for us to focus on in 2023. It's been a great stock for us. So that's what I'm looking for. Just kind of get back to 21, maybe 22. Let's see the options chain. The 8th, we have the 21 with 18,000, 22nd with 18,000. We also have some for the 15th. We could always buy time if you guys want. You never know. In terms of, reversals, we do have NFP on Friday. Let's go over the economic data. That's a good segue. The 5th, we have ISM PMI, JOLTS job openings. We have Wednesday non-farm private payroll, unemployment claims on Thursday, and non-farm payroll on Friday. So last time we had non-farm payroll was, I don't know how we did on that day. Let's take a look at our numbers and see on the weeks. Let's see, big weeks, okay. NFP weeks, we're not that great, 62%. Not good. Yikes. Okay, so that really makes me want to take a step back because those weeks tend to be rough for us. So what we want to do now, knowing this, is possibly buy time. So Palantir, for example, since it's really cheap, I'm probably going to buy time. In terms of Peloton, if we trade it, I probably want to buy time since it's really cheap. Again, it's a $6 stock. So let's we don't have to go next week, obviously. Just be careful, more careful moving forward. We know that it's not the easiest. We don't have the best record in terms of trading on NFP, but doesn't mean we should be afraid either. Again, the idea is just to have precaution. So again, maybe we do go ahead and look for next week on it. Mara has been a name again with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has been on fire. So 1392. If we break the August highs, 15 possibly is our next target. And again, I'll hit this all day if we just find the momentum. Let's see the 15th. There you go. The 15 calls. We buy a week. Everyone relaxes a little bit, and we don't get screwed on any kind of middle of the week nonsense. Maybe the dollar pushes higher or anything like that. So let's start getting into the macro here, guys. Let's go to the dollar index. And again, we had a nice pop in the dollar, but stock still went higher. So how about that? Let's go to the daily. Here we go. And we bounced off this support here around 102.48. So let's go ahead and place an alert below that. If we do, guys, this is where it gets really interesting because now we can start targeting 101.61 and right here around 100. And 100, man, if that hits, I think we get all-time highs in stocks anyways. So we really need the dollar to pull back here. Let's go and take a look at the 10-year treasury yields breaking down. Look at this. This was the high of October of 2022. And then we rejected it again in August. And then we finally broke out of it in September. And now we're breaking down. Sub 4% is looking like it's coming. And that's going to benefit tech and, of course, anything that's high beta because it's cheaper to borrow money since we're getting bids on treasury yields. So, again, this is going to give us a lot less stress in the system in terms of liquidity, in terms of money availability, money velocity. So, again, we want to see if we can break below that psychologically satisfying 4%. 5% we never hit on 10-year. We got to 4.997. That feels so long ago. Look how much we have fallen since then. So a lot of stuff going on, and we only got 4 weeks to decipher what the hell is happening. Equal weight S&P, interesting. Look at this. Resistance possibly, or next up to 156. But right here, we're at a key level. We're above major moving averages. Very, very important. But 156 is the next target. So keep in mind, if we are expecting that this market will broaden out, this rally, then you're going to see equal weight S&P. So add equal weight S&P to your ticker symbols because that'll be a better way to kind of see how the market's doing. Because the S&P, again, it's weighted. Microsoft, Apple, we know those guys have such a heavy pull with those indexes that the NASDAQ can be red and the Dow be green and equal weight be green. It happens. Let's take a look at crude oil for my crude oil traders. Starting to hit some key support, at least short term. This green line here, right around 74.79. Maybe target the 72.20 level. That's the lows from November 16th. The Saudis were talking about voluntary supply cuts. Again, it's still voluntary. Even with the dollar weakening, crude coming down is saying a lot. Gas prices are falling as well. So energy stocks, again, like I've said before, energy stocks are fine to own a dividend, but crude oil is not the future. It just isn't. And, I think we've have hit peak oil. I don't think we'll ever see $150 barrel oil in our lifetime, probably ever. I think the last time we saw that was probably 2008 or so, 2010, 2011. We would need the dollar to completely collapse and we would need demand to soar. And the only way we get demand to soar is probably with China. And even if we had Chinese demand, maybe their economy bounces back or what have you, I don't think that you'd even get above, 130 a barrel, 120 barrel ever again on crude oil. It's just the supply chains have been fixed, as we know. And again, the more adopting of EVs, Ford just reported that November was their best-selling month for the Ford Lightning. That's an EV, and that's a pickup truck. So you imagine, once we start adopting EVs everywhere, crude oil is going to continue to go. But what's going to help is the semiconductor stocks inverse. So that's kind of like my pair trade. Semiconductors, long term, I'd be bullish on that. Crude oil, again, ExxonMobil and Chevron is fine. You want to own that for the dividend, sure. But if you're looking for growth, crude oil ain't going to be it. It just isn't. AI, chips. I remember metaverse was big. Now I was talking about that could be the future. I guess that's on pause for now. But crypto coming back, again, getting back crude oil is not going to get us the bids that we want or the attention that we want. But again, we could always trade it. So that is where we are for the week. Heck of a week all around. I'm very proud of the work that everyone has done. We're going to put out the watch list. We talked about a couple of names, Caterpillar, Palantir, Peloton as well. IWM in focus. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for the week that's upcoming because I want to get back to the winning ways. And again, we had a great week. It's not like we had a horrible week at all. But again, it's not to the standard that I want. Again, I want to see all green. I don't want to see any losses ever. I mean, if I do, I get upset. I don't like it. I want to win every single trade. I want GAR Capital to be an ATM for you guys, where if you need a little cash here and there and you want to make a quick trade, make a quick couple of bucks and you move on. I don't want it to turn into a slot machine where you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and inserting quarters or inserting dollars and pulling that trigger and just hoping for something to happen. Let's be precise. Let's be prepared and ready to go. Again, this is business. This isn't gambling. We know what we're trying to do. We know what our targets are. This isn't supposed to be fun. It's fun when you're winning, absolutely. But when it gets tough, if you remember, it does get tough over time. You're gonna have to keep that context in your mind that ups and downs. That's the market. So feeling great for November. I'm very happy, and let's see what December brings. I expect us to go higher. I would assume that this is going to be the last two losses for the year. That's going to be my goal for this month, and let's see if we can round out 2023 on a strong note. So far, so good. So let's make it happen, Captain. I'll see you guys on Monday for the next morning note. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you then. Cheers.